You do not need to be afraid when you have pain or injury. I'm going to tell you why. Hey, I'm Dr. Anthony Davis, and I recently published a video about form during exercise. Do you need to worry about your form and alignment and technique during exercise? I just got a really insightful comment from one of my viewers, and I really appreciated it so much I wanted to make a video to respond to it. This viewer's story is amazing about how fear of movement and fear of doing an exercise wrong when you're dealing with pain and injury can really make things way, way worse. Fear, it turns out, is actually much, much worse than actual injury. So if you have an injury or some kind of pain, please, you do not need to be afraid of movement. Now let's see what this viewer had to say. They write, wow, I haven't heard anybody verbalize what I've been going through for the past year this well. You literally explained my situation letter to letter. Well, I gotta say, I'm really happy that you could relate to this video, and I hope that other people can as well. They continue to write, I had a disc herniation injury a year and some ago, and I was vicariously into weightlifting for a few years by then and got injured while deadlifting. And this plunged me into a total state of mental disarray and fear of movement, making me absolutely obsessed with how I should move every inch of my body to prevent further injury and facilitate recovery. The sad and funny thing is that it only stretched out the period of recovery way longer than it had to last and absolutely ravaged me mentally. I'm gonna pause there and just express that sucks. That really sucks. You get injured and then you get so afraid of re-injuring you that it just fucks with you mentally, gets in your head, and then you can't even do anything of the things that you wanted to do. And at a certain point, you're not limited because of the injury. Now you're just limited because you've gotten in your own head, because everybody, all these fitness influencers are telling you that, oh my God, if you don't do exercise 100% perfectly, your back is going to explode. You're going to ruin your joints. But that's just not true. And this is a perfect example of how much this bad misinformation can really mess with people. They continue to explain that they've dealt with a lot of mental health issues, and that combined with the fear of injury is worsening all sorts of catastrophizing thoughts, like how they may never return to a pain-free and active life. Plus, you combine that with loads of disinformation on the internet, and in their words, you get literally hell. They go on to say, in particular, the internet disinformation that used very dramatic language, such as "you must do this to recover from a disc injury," or "you must not do this if you have a disc injury," and that just automatically triggered their already obsessed out brain and made them overthink movement to the point that they didn't want to move at all because they felt that every move that they made was wrong. And of course, staying immobile for months after a disc injury is about the worst thing you can do in reality. So again, that's all in their own words, and I couldn't describe it better myself. This is exactly what we try to avoid in clinic all the time. People come to me and they have shooting pain down the leg. They can barely walk in the door. They can barely sit down on the table. And the most important thing I emphasize to them is that you got to keep moving. Don't be afraid. It's gonna be okay. This is a temporary thing. Even though it really sucks to have an acute disc herniation, trust me, I get it, it sucks. But you must stay active. You really are going to benefit from motion. It is okay. It is safe. You're going to be okay. Don't panic. This user goes on to say that since then they've made a brave, and yes, I get it. It really is a brave thing to do when you are in this mental trap of fear. So that since then they say that I've made a brave attempt to start actually lifting weights again. Almost a month ago, the psychological aspect has been the toughest in the sense that I can still see myself getting caught up into, oh my God, my form isn't right. And then I spend much more time in my head than actually doing the work, but it's getting to somewhere now, and I can feel myself slowly deconditioning from the fear that I've associated with motion or movement. And then they say, motion is lotion. Yes, I love it. Motion is lotion. Absolutely. I'm so glad to see that this person has been able to slowly ease themselves back into movement and feel confident while doing it. And then they go on to express gratitude for this information. So I'm really happy that this helped this person. I hope that these videos are helping other people to get out of this fear of movement, because there is tons of research that clearly shows us that fear of pain is actually more disabling than actual pain itself. So getting an injury is actually less disabling than just being afraid of getting injured. Because if you're afraid of getting injured, then you're going to stop yourself from doing any activity whatsoever because you're too scared of doing it. So we need to gradually expose us at a comfortable level. We don't need to push it extremely fast, but we need to gradually expose ourselves to things that are just a little outside our comfort zone, test it, prove to our body and our mind that movement is safe, and then do the same thing again. Now our comfort zone expands, push it a little bit beyond that, make sure we feel confident and safe in that movement, and then keep making our movement bubble bigger, because motion is lotion, movement is medicine. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your questions in the comments. I'll see you in another video.